So let's talk about AI. Is this the real deal, the future of everything, or are we all just caught up in a massive bubble that's about to pop? It's the question everyone's asking. So today we're going to cut through all that noise and figure out what's really going on.
You have to just let that sink in for a second. NVIDIA, urinal, nightmares. Seriously, an investor actually had a dream they were being forced to buy them. When market hype starts showing up in people's dreams, yeah, that's a pretty good sign things have gotten a little weird. It's a perfect snapshot of market mania.
Okay, so weird dreams about stocks. Why does that matter to you? Because it's a symptom of this incredibly powerful force that can have a huge, huge impact on your savings. This isn't just about some tech company. It's about figuring out how to ride the emotional roller coaster of investing without getting thrown off the tracks.
So how do you keep yourself from getting swept up in all this? Well, the first step is knowing what you're looking at. We've got to understand how these things actually work. So let's break down the anatomy of a market bubble. All right, so what is a bubble, really? At its core, it's just when the price of something completely detaches from its actual fundamental value. It doesn't mean the technology isn't cool or important. It just means the hype and the speculation have taken over and are driving prices to levels that just aren't sustainable. It's like a party where everyone's convinced the music is never, ever gonna stop.
And you know what's crazy? This party follows the same script almost every single time. It kicks off with a displacement. That's the shiny new thing that changes the game, like AI. Then you get the boom. Prices start climbing, the news catches on, and everyone's talking about it. And then comes euphoria. This is where caution goes out the window. Everyone piles in, terrified of missing out. You hear these wild stories about instant millionaires. And then, yeah, you guessed it, the bust. The party's over and prices come crashing back down to earth.
And here's the kicker. The biggest danger isn't even the bubble itself. It's us. It's our own brain. That FOMO, that fear of missing out, it makes us do the absolute worst thing possible. Buy when prices are sky high. And then, when the crash happens, we panic and we sell when everything's at the bottom. We literally lock in our own losses. It is such a classic, painful trap.
Okay, so if chasing the hype is a recipe for disaster, what are you supposed to do? Just sit on the sidelines and do nothing? How do you actually invest intelligently when it seems like the entire market has lost its mind? Well, the answer, believe it or not, is surprisingly simple. It's time for a real strategy.
Look, forget about trying to find the next big thing. Forget that hot stock tip you heard from a friend of a friend. The most effective plan, the one that actually works for the long haul, it's kind of boring. And that's the whole point. In a world that's screaming about hype, being boring with your money is actually your secret weapon. It really is.
So what is this boring superpower? It's often called the three-fund portfolio. And the idea is just so simple. Instead of trying to pick winning stocks, you just buy the whole market. That's it. You get one fund that owns basically all the US stocks, another one that owns all the international stocks, and a third one with bonds to kind of smooth out the ride. It's the ultimate diversification with almost no effort. You stop looking for the needle in the haystack, and you just buy the entire haystack.
When you really boil it down, it's about choosing who you want to be. Are you a speculator? Chasing the hype, riding the emotional waves, trying to time everything perfectly? Or are you an investor, someone with a plan, who's focused on the long game and is driven by discipline, not drama? The speculator gets burned by the bubble. The investor is built to survive it and thrive on the other side.
Okay, let's wrap this up. If you remember only one thing from everything we've talked about, please let it be this.
It all comes down to these 4 basic rules. First, just accept that you can't predict the future. Nobody can, so stop trying to time the market. Second, diversify, diversify, diversify. It's your best shield against the shocks you just don't see coming. Third, keep your costs low. Every dollar you pay in fees is a dollar that isn't growing for you. And last, and this is the hardest part, stay the course. Just ignore all the noise, the hype, the panic, and stick to your plan.
I want you to really think about that for a second. The goal isn't to be a genius who outsmarts the bubble. The goal is to have a plan that's so solid, the bubble doesn't even matter. You're building a portfolio that can take a punch and just keep on going. It's about resilience, not about being some kind of market wizard. So I'll leave you with this one last question to ask yourself. Are you out there trying to time the market, basically gambling on chaos? Or are you building a system that lets the awesome power of the market work for you over the long run? Ultimately, that choice is going to define your financial future. It's all up to you.